Hello, my name is Fletus Poston, and I'm excited to bring this presentation to you today. From IT to Blue Team, your time is now. A little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for approximately 20 years now. I've done a little bit of everything from IT audit, intrusion detection, several IT roles before jumping into cyber as a cyber system engineer and then a security operations manager. I currently serve as an adjunct faculty teaching an AI business systems class, and I love sharing my knowledge, and I hope you enjoy this presentation as we discuss how our journey from IT to security is always different, but one that needs to be explored. So as we're diving into this presentation, I'd like to just throw out a quick disclaimer. I represent myself and no one else in the duration of this presentation, and I may use dad jokes throughout this talk. So our agenda for this presentation is as shown here. We're going to talk about communication is key. We're going to talk about my journey, why you should change or consider to change, discuss a little bit of the workforce statistics, how to stay involved, and how to pay it forward, and then recap at the end. Hang with me as we go through this. I hope you enjoy this presentation, and let's dive in together. So here's my first dad joke for you today. Communication is key. What should you do if you get locked out of your house? Talk to the lock because communication is key. Now that you've heard my bad jokes, let's dive into what I mean by this and why this is in this presentation. Communication is a make or break. We have to be able to effectively share information quickly, timely, and concisely in a multi-generational environment. Some of your peers may want you to pick up the phone and physically call them. Some of your colleagues may need an email and a phone call. Others may just want you to send them a Teams or Slack message. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to determine how and when to communicate to your employees, to your leadership, and your stakeholders. Because this is the best asset that we'll talk later in this presentation on making sure that you are effective both in your IT career and, to be honest, even in your personal life. So make sure that you take time to understand how to share information that is concise, digestible, and make sure that you break down the lexicon that we use in IT and security into terms that individuals can understand. Because at the end of the day, you and I have a crush of knowledge. We've been in the field too long that we will use terms that we assume is general knowledge. Additionally, I understand this a lot. It's hard to be a novice again. I have to remember what it's like the first time I turned on a computer, the first time I've logged into my SIM, my sole product, and what that emotion felt like. So being able to write a standard operating procedure, a playbook, in a manner that's easily digestible is important. So take time to work on your documentation skills, work on public speaking, and dive in headfirst to ensuring that your career is one that is successful, both personal and professional. Now, let's highlight a little bit of my journey on this slide, and we'll dive deeper into how these apply to that transition from IT to Blue Team. I started my career as an IT auditor with Wachovia, which is now Wells Fargo, here in Charlotte, North Carolina. After that, I returned back to Appalachian State to finish out my Bachelor's of Business Administration and Computer Information Systems, where we had a guest lecturer this semester who was looking for student help for his satellite security office in Boone, North Carolina. I got to cut my teeth at doing intrusion detection system. During that time, not only did I get to manage the queue, but I also got to help install sensors using Gen 2 OS on physical hardware and appliances. After that, I moved across the street in Charlotte, North Carolina to a regulated utility called Duke Energy, where I spent the next 13 years of my career. My first role there was doing IT service management. Then I moved into web application monitoring and then electronic document management. While on the electronic document management team, I had the itch to put security back in my role. So I went from being a BA on the front end side of the system to supporting the servers that we had in the back end. During that time, I picked up the identity and access management piece of the role, managing several hundred AD groups, several dozen process accounts/service accounts for our corporate and nuclear application. During that same time, I went back and got my master's in information assurance and started networking with the director of security operations. About a year later, I was able to transition over as a cyber systems engineer, so making my move from IT to blue team. I picked up cyber and was able to help build out the security operations center. I joined the team shortly after the target breach, so we had funding to bring in new analysts, new engineers. So my first couple months, it was dual analyst engineer, responding to phishing alerts, endpoint alerts, before ultimately leading the cyber systems engineering team, where we supported everything from endpoint, cloud, SIEM, SOAR, detonation appliances. And then I moved from Duke Energy to a backup and recovery company called CrashPlan, where I served as their senior manager of security operations and application security. That time was a breath of knowledge. I got to expose myself in more SaaS, more infrastructure as code, and understanding the importance of automation. And then recently, I picked up an adjunct faculty with Appalachian State University, where I'm serving and teaching an AI business system cybersecurity class. As you can see, my journey has taken me through many different industries and vectors, but all of this was due to strong mentors. Find a mentor. We'll talk more about that in this presentation, because they are there to help your career prosper, and you're there to help their career evolve as well. So you guys are probably wondering why I listed out my journey to talk about an IT to blue team. I did it so that you can see how what you learned from your previous roles can apply directly to cybersecurity. So inside the IT audit org, I was quickly exposed to how systems work. I learned what policies and procedures and technologies look like, as you were able to look at end-to-end processes during our audits. As an IDS handler, I quickly gained knowledge of current security threats, vulnerabilities, and techniques. I was able to learn what the world is dealing with. I learned very quickly in this role as well that users can and will try anything on a company device. So it's important for us to educate our users on this asset is monitored, we're tracking what you're doing, and we're here to protect you and help you, both from yourself and from the adversaries. Next, in my IT service management role, I learned the importance of change control and approvals. Fletus, why is that important? Well, for anyone who's been in the field for more than a few weeks, without documentation, change approvals or PR approvals, you're setting yourself up for failure and a nightmare and a headache. Also, I learned about the CIS controls. It's important to have an inventory of your assets, your software, and your hardware. This is control one. And because I was in IT service management, we did a lot of problem analysis and lessons learned. Those come into play later in my career when I've done tabletops, incident response, incident management activities. All of these skills in these first three roles made me a better security practitioner, security engineer, and ultimately a better security leader. During my web app monitoring, I learned a lot about the client side, the browser, the visibility of how web apps actually work. I learned browser configurations, how cookies impact our applications, and the difference between server-side and client-side activities. Anyone who's, again, been around long enough, your browser used to run with admin permissions. We still give our browser too much authority when we start adding plugins. Each of these things in these IT roles didn't have security in them other than the IDS. Set me up to be better aligned to respond, detect, and remediate future security incidents because I had exposure to how systems work in my IT audit, how the knowledge of security threats work during my handler job, the importance of CIS controls and change during my IT service management, and then the web app monitoring got me into what we now have to rely on with SaaS, browser security, the difference of client-side and server-side activity. So let's continue on with the electronic document management side. It was imperative to manage control, access. This is where least privilege comes into play. Data classification is hard. We still struggle with data classification today. Even with the advancements of tools that will auto-classify, our users still do not understand what is internal, confidential, or restricted data. And it first introduced me to what legal hold and e-discovery looks like, which became important later on in my career. Then as a cyber systems engineer, I learned very quickly, back in the day, AV was weak. Put it wherever else you want with those dots. Email was a blast for me, and one of the toughest things to still secure to this today, and even worse with the advancements in AI. Sandboxing has a place in your security operations center. You should be detonating attachments, detonating and using packet captures and doing analysis. And the cloud is going to be something we have to understand more and more now. Additionally, as a security operations manager, employee engagement is important. Human-centric security goes a long way. We have to teach our employees to be the best blue team member we have. They can see something and say something. I was able to quickly learn NIST, MITRE, ISO, SOC 2, and apply it to my organization. And then, of course, tuning is imperative for our success. You can't just load in rules into your SIM. You can't just put vanilla out of the box playbooks into your SOAR. You have to tune them for your environment and make sure that you're reviewing them, auditing them, and ensuring that they're the best for your organization. So why change? You can see many stats. I pulled out a few here. There's still a global shortage of IT security professionals. This stat's from 2021, but it's still relevant. There's still approximately 2 million jobs that need to be filled. But we're still seeing growth in STEM-based activities with a 13.5%. And from the stat in 2022, over the last 3 years, 87% of our organizations reported actively seeking to meet diversity goals when hiring our new employees. So diversity goals here is not just sex and gender. It's your background, your diversity. You are important to the organization because your values, your life experiences are what will make their organization stronger, because you're going to think differently. You're going to have the ability to bring change to the organization that they're looking for. Now let's dive into some cybersecurity/IT workforce statistics. You can see I've listed out a few different ones here. I'll let you read them yourself, but I just wanted to cover that there's still a growth out there. We still have about 5 million people in the cybersecurity field, and roles are still growing. Growth over time has been important. We've seen percentage growth year over year up until 2022 for the workforce. Yes, Fletus, I understand what you're saying, but the market right now isn't showing that. I know. I'll put myself in your shoes. I was hit with a reduction in force. I'm still looking for my next role as well, but I'm not giving up. So I believe in these statistics. There's going to be growth in the information security field, cybersecurity, on all sides. I believe, like my point says in the second call, many of us, 2/3, are struggling to define our paths. So that's why I put this step together. I want to take the time to show that no matter your background, you are in control, you're in the driver's seat for what your next role will be. So to continue from the previous slide, what if I was to share, you're probably already doing cybersecurity in your current IT role. Yes, you heard me right. You're probably already doing some kind of security in your current role. As I shared in my journey during my electronic document management role, I was able to take on identity and access management, managing AD groups, service accounts, process accounts, so that I was helping with the least privilege mindset of giving users just enough access to their job and nothing more. As you can see on this list, some of these roles do not have security directly in them. But for example, the software developer has to secure their code. They have to make sure they put security in their pipelines for their infrastructure as code. The network engineer has to ensure the traffic is encrypted, that they're using PKI, that they are implementing proper X509. And a system admin is responsible for patching their systems, which is important when you think about the CIS controls again, which I believe, if I'm off the top of my head, is Control 7. We have to patch our systems and do vulnerability scanning. So hang with me and realize no matter what your title is, security is everyone's job. And some of us just happen to have it in our title. Work towards it and continue to tailor the role that you're doing today to fit the needs of your role tomorrow. Transferable skills are in every role. I've talked a few times already. The skills that I have taken from my IT audit, my business roles, my IT roles, have made me a better security practitioner. As I've always worked tickets and alerts. I've always used scripting languages to do tasks. And documentation of process and procedures is imperative. And reporting, our favorite thing. Yes, I said our favorite thing. Because without reports, there's no justification. There's no documentation that we've done this, which leads us to incident response. Many of us have done IR, even in our personal lives. We've had an incident from where we've been scammed, we've had a computer get a virus at home, or even on a different note, we've had to respond to a hurricane, a flood, or a bad storm. So the skills that you've applied in every role, you can use those as you transition from IT to cyber, especially in a blue team role. Outline them on your resume. Use them during your interviews. Talk about your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and how you've used this to make you the next SOC analyst, the next CTI analyst, etc. Don't give up. One of the most important skills that we all need are soft skills. Communication and active listening. I opened up this presentation with my dad joke around communication is key. Verbal and written communication will make or break a career because management and stakeholders are going to ask for daily activities and reports. Additionally, you need to listen and follow directions. There's a reason we were giving 2 ears and 1 mouth. Don't start trying to respond or react until you've listened to the entire question, story, or incident. And you need to be consistent with your communication. Share the risk. Help them understand what they're facing. And be effective and concise with that. We all have to have problem-solving skills. Most of that's the out-of-the-box, critical thinking from a different perspective, looking at the situation from the end user's point of view or your peer's point of view. Because until then, you'll see a 6, they'll see a 9, to quote Covey. Next, have humility. Are you able to admit that you're wrong? Are you capable of asking for help? This took a long time in my career to realize that it's okay to say and admit I did something wrong, and admit quickly, and then use a sense of humor. Are you a person who can make others laugh at appropriate times? This is a good sign of your resilience and your ability to relax in a high-stress field. You can see I've done another dad joke on the bottom of the screen. Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Because it's pointless. Which leads to the humility and humor piece. Next, can you work on your own? There are many times inside of a blue team where you're going to work in isolation. You're going to need to dive and parse a log by yourself. So can you do this? I think you can. Actually, I know you can. So practice your communication, sharpen your problem-solving skills, be humble, crack a joke, and make sure that you're building the best you possible. So your soft skills will make or break you. We have to be creative. This could be in how you interact with your diverse team members. This could be helping you thrive in numerous roles. A CTI analyst, a threat hunter, has to have impeccable ability to find the needle in the needle stack. And your research. Can you write articles? Do you understand how to go find information? Have you built a lab, either in your home or in the cloud, to test out and sharpen your new skills? Research is a key component of all blue team members, as we need to stay diligent and aware of the current attack vectors, adversaries, tips, tricks, TTPs, so that we can be able to respond, detect, and remediate various different types of attacks. Next, have a learning capability. We are expected to read up and stay abreast. We have to adapt quickly. Don't get into blue team if you don't want to be a continuous learner. You got to be curious and you got to be willing to dive in and turn a new rock every single day to make sure that your organization is able to be secure. Transition a little bit. How do you stay involved? You mentor a junior staff member, the next generation, and anyone can be a mentor. Share what you're learning. Post on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. Write your own blogs. Start your own YouTube channel. Learn and share in internal Slacks, Discords, etc. And give talks like we're doing today, either virtually or in person. All of these will help you become a more well-rounded candidate and a better cybersecurity practitioner. I'd like to spend a minute or so here on mentorship. 84% of our Fortune 500 companies have mentorship programs. 100% of the Fortune 50 do. Of those with a mentor, 97% say that they're valuable. Yet, only 37% of professionals have a mentor. 89% of those have been mentored also go on to mentor others. So a quote here is, everyone needs a mentor and a mentee, no matter how long you've been in the field. You have something to share with others. You bring your previous experience and diversity to the roles. So take time today to make sure that you're in a mentorship and that you're being a mentor to someone else. So some tips to continue learning. Build a routine. They're important. Blog or journal to help you retain knowledge. Subscribe to channels on YouTube or Twitch. Find a podcast both that's cyber and non-technical to sharpen your mind and your skills. Dedicate 10 to 15 minutes daily to learning something new. And lastly, step away from the keyboard and do a non-technical hobby. It will make you able to come back, dive in, and dissect the problem much easier, quicker, and a little sunlight never hurts. And as a blue teamer, we must understand human risk. For anyone who's ever heard me talk, human-centric security is a very strong passion of mine. We can fall prey to phishing just as much as anyone else. We need to protect the cloud. We need to understand data handling, as we are possibly likely to infect ourselves if we do not do it correctly. What are we surfing? How are we surfing? All of this can be taught back to the end user, because as I opened up this talk with, all of our employees are in security. They're the best blue teamer because they see something, they can say something. You're not waiting on the log to hit the syslog, push to your SAM, and an alert to be generated into your queue and be seen by analysts. So empower your users, teach them, and remind them that security starts from the time they wake up until the time they go to sleep. So let's recap now on this talk. No matter your past, you are in control of your future. Build on your past experiences and reflect on what you want to do, and then go do it. Find a mentor and be a mentor. Build a routine that enables you to grow and develop, but at the same time, enjoy the journey. Don't forget to take a breath and realize we're all in this together, and this is a field that wants to see you succeed. Lastly, nobody will have the same journey, so do not compare yourself to others. And my final ism today is, what are a CISO's two biggest fears? Everyone who works at the company and everyone else who doesn't. Thank you guys for your time today. I appreciate it. If you like what you have seen here, please follow me on X, LinkedIn, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post a lot of similar materials. I'm out here to help with mass mentorship. Please connect with me. Please reach out. And I'm thankful that you guys tuned into this presentation today. Enjoy the rest of the summit.